Hi, welcome to my session. This is Power Up with PBS, and I am Nikki Bradenberg. You can get the slides to this session by going to this short link, bit.ly/PowerUpPBS21, and that'll take you to these slides. These slides have a lot of links in them, and so I will encourage you to click on different images and pictures to find things throughout. So I would recommend getting that opened up in your browser so you can follow along that way. Please take a moment to introduce yourself in the chat box, share where you are and what your teaching role is, and maybe throw in something you're excited about learning about today. As I said before, my name is Nikki Bradenberg, and I'm the Director of Education at Montana PBS. We are located in Bozeman on the campus of Montana State University. This is my email address. I'm on Twitter, love to talk to teachers on Twitter. I also have a YouTube channel, not that I'm like a big YouTuber, but all of the training that I've done in the last couple of years is on my YouTube channel. So if you're looking for some virtual training for using technology and PBS resources in the classroom, you can check that out. And then this link here, just in case you missed it the first time, bit.ly/PowerUpPBS21 are the slides for this. You can connect with Montana PBS online. We're on all the social media channels. We also have a Facebook group for teachers. If you're on Facebook and you search for PBS Teachers, I will, and then answer our questions, I will admit you into the group. And that's where we share resources and information about events that we're hosting. You can also go to our website, montanapbs.org, to look for any of the education work that we're doing. It's also a great place to watch the full-length programs that air on Montana PBS. We are really excited to do a lot of different types of professional development for teachers, and that's what these two images represent. The first one up here, if you click on this image, it's going to take you to the website on our page for the Montana PBS Media Lab. In the spring of 2021 and the summer of 2021, we hosted a series of virtual workshops for teachers to learn about different digital tools for making media with students. We did iMovie and Keynote and Procreate, Do Ink Green Screen and Pixton. We brought trainers from all over the state of Montana to teach these workshops. Each workshop focuses on one tool. They were 2 hours long and they were a deep dive so teachers could really get some hands-on practice using some media making tools. We recorded all of them and they're all on our website if you want to check them out. You also might keep your eyes open for our EdCamp events. We host 2 EdCamp events a year, one in the fall and one in the spring. Our event in the fall was in Missoula and it was in person. In the spring, we'll host a virtual EdCamp for all teachers, pre-K through 12th grade and beyond. So stay tuned for information about that. The best way to find out more is to visit our website. So tell me about your familiarity with PBS Learning Media. If you have never heard of it, and that's why you're here, put a 0 in the chat. If you've heard of it in some area, give us a 1 to 2. Or if you're a power user and you're just here to brush up or to find out what's new, give us a 3 or a 4. And I'll pause for a moment and wait for those numbers to come in. The website we're using today is pbslearningmedia.org. This is a collection of PBS resources. The website itself is administered by PBS National, but every PBS station in the country can contribute to the site. And so it is basically a holding place for PBS content created by stations and by national all over the country. On this site, teachers can find First, you want to start by signing up for a free account, and you can do that with either your Google or Facebook credentials, or you can just use your email and create a unique password. We highly recommend setting up an account because there it will connect you to your local station, Montana PBS, as well as the Montana State Standards when you're searching for materials. Another great reason to sign up for an account is that it allows you to favorite resources as you're using the site. It also lets you use some of the lesson building tools that exist there. The types of resources you're going to find, obviously it's PBS, so video is one of the most popular resources that teachers come to the site looking for, but it's also a great way to find images and web pages. Interactives, also known as digital games, are very popular as well. You might find a collection of resources, which is a single page focused on a theme such as fall, or a program like Frontline or American Masters that has media content created for the classroom that follows the theme of the collection. You can browse the site by standards. You can also browse it by subject or grade level. I'm going to leave my slides for a moment. I'm going to just give you a demo of the site so that you can see some of the features of the website. So again, I'm going to show you that when we go to PBS Learning Media, we can just type in pbslearningmedia.org. It's going to call it up, and you can see how the Montana appears in the line for me, and that's because I'm already logged in and connected to Montana PBS. You will get a little prompt asking you to confirm that Montana is your local station, or asking you to enter a zip code or something. That doesn't change your access to any content on the site. It doesn't change what you see, really. It just allows you to see some of the things that I've changed, which if you scroll down on the main page, past these areas, into this carousel called award-winning series and collections, I have added some of our Montana collections that I want people to find. And so this piece of the site is a slightly different for those of us in Montana than it is in Idaho or Utah. I can also sometimes change these news and events pieces. And if we have an event happening here in Montana, I will have it featured right here. So you may see some of those things from time to time. At the time of this recording, we don't have anything right there. Now, when teachers come to this site, they can come up here and they can search by subject, and they can get down into very specific pieces in the content, or they can go very broad. You can also search by your grade band, or as I mentioned before, the standards. However, most teachers use this box, the topic search box, to enter a series of a single or a series of keywords that helps them find resources that they might be looking for. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to type in fall and show you what pops up when I just look for things to go along with fall. Well, 425 is too many for any of us to sort through in any amount of prep time. So you could come over here to your filters and filter things by grade level, subject, resource type, language, accessibility, if you want to make sure you get things with captions or transcripts, or some additional features like having support materials or something that you could download. So when it comes to filters, I start with grade level. And when I was teaching, I taught K1 for a number of years. And so I would choose the K2 grade band. But my advice to teachers is always to choose above and below. And that's because the PBS stations that upload these materials, they assign the tags, and that's a little subjective. So their idea of what is appropriate for a K1 class might be different than yours. So you might look at this Montour Falls clip and it's tagged for 3.5, so you would have missed it if you hadn't clicked that box, and maybe it's exactly what you're looking for. So that's why I highly recommend above and below, just to cast a wider net. I can also look at my topics, and if I want things with more of a social studies emphasis, can take it even further into these topics. And then if I'm looking for a collection or if I'm looking for a video, I might want to put that in there. And I might want to make sure that it's something I can download because it's something I want to import into another tool like Flipgrid or Edpuzzle. So now that has brought up a smaller number. Now I've got 33 things to search through, which is a little bit easier than what I had before. But it did limit, some of those things did limit. So now I'm going to maybe uncheck the download because I'm not sure that is all that important to me. And I'm going to take away social studies too. And that opens things up just a little bit more. So now I'm going to look at this fabulous fall foliage. And the reason I'm picking this one is you see it's got the video clip. I know how long it is. I know who created it, who my grade levels are. And over here, it shows me that it also has support materials. So it's going to have discussion questions. It's going to have maybe a lesson plan or something like that. But as I look closer, I see it's also tagged for 6 through 8, which tells me it might not be appropriate for my K2, but I'll go ahead and check it out anyway. So this is the research. This is the page that appears. And this is a single resource page. And I just want to give you a little bit of a tour of what you might see on this page. So it starts with the video itself. This one has captions, so we can turn our captions on or off. And also this one does have the option for downloading, so I can download it to my device and share it that way in case I don't want to worry about Wi-Fi and streaming. It also has a transcript of the video available in case I want to print that off and add that to my lesson in some way. Over here, I can touch standards. And here you can see they have connected this source with our Montana OPI standards, as well as it also connects us with the nationwide standards that go along with that resource. Over to the side, you'll see that there are support materials, and this one has discussion questions. And so these, when you click on this, the box just pops up and it's just giving you a couple of discussion questions that you might use as you're engaging kids in discussion around this particular video. So over on the side, you'll see there's some other things to do. So many choices. You've probably noticed the Google Classroom link right there. This site will connect to Google Classroom, which means you can share this page in your Google Classroom with students, and you can create it as an assignment or an announcement. And then your students, when they click the link, it will take them out of Google Classroom and into PBS Learning Media. It really just acts as a sort of just a gateway. It doesn't collect any of the data or anything that they did. It doesn't show us whether they watched the video or not, or any interactive lesson that they might do. That all stays in Learning Media. It doesn't get transferred to Google Classroom. So it's kind of confusing, but I like to explain that to people. You can also share this as a link and just click your link, copy the link, and then you can put it wherever you put links, whether that's Seesaw or in a Google document or something like that. There is a lesson builder on this site that allows you to create your own academic or interactive lesson where you might insert a video and then create some questions for students to ask after they watch the video, share on social media. And if you're browsing and you would like to save this for later, you just click this little heart icon. And now it has been favorited, and you can go to a favorites folder where all of the things that you have favorited are saved. And I'll show you where that is. If you can come up to the corner where I have logged in, and here's my name. Another reason we want to log in is we can save things and find them later. So I click on the caret, and all of my choices are here, some of the same choices that you saw over by the resource there. But if I come down to favorites, it's going to give me this page that lists all of the video, all of the media pieces that I have clicked favorite next to in my hearts. So there it is, fabulous fall foliage. I could also, write some notes about this video, short, good discussion. prompt. And this is just something that I might want to save for later about this video. I can also take this video and put it into a folder if I wanted to group resources to find later. You can see this one, the barfing pumpkin video, is in a folder that I call Halloween. When I come over here on this side, and you can see where I have my folders, I've created over the years a lot of folders with general topics there. And a lot of these I've created because teachers have contacted me, or teachers I work with want me to just curate some resources for them and then send them the folder. And so you might do this for yourself or for a colleague. So for instance, I have 2 Halloween folders, I just realized. This Halloween folder, I created it, and then there's a link here, and I can just share that link with somebody and they can get all of the resources that I put into that folder. And so these are the 2 resources that are in my Halloween folder. So the way that we can put a resource in a folder is if I go back to favorites and I click the box next to favorites and I choose add to folder. All the folders that I've used in the past appear here, and I can just click next to it and I can put a resource in multiple folders. So I could put that in both of my Halloween folders, but I could also create a new folder and I can call that folder fall, and I can put it in that folder. So now you can see that this video appears in this folder under these subtopics. And so when I go to share folders or look at folders again, I can find that video again. So that's just a quick preview of how to favorite items and what our resources look like in Learning Media. I'll go back to my slides now and talk to you about interactive lessons. Interactive lessons are a little bit new to the platform and are growing, and as more stations learn to create interactive lessons, there are more and more of them available. And I'll go to the page where you'll find interactive lessons. You can find interactive lessons by typing interactive lesson into the topic box. And you can see in this collection, they're divided into these subtopics. And then within those subtopics, you can see the different grade levels that have an interactive lesson available for them. So if I wanted to look for grades 3 to 5 math lessons, I've got quite a few interactive lessons that are available. And how you might use this is you would click on the lesson and you would kind of read what is this about, and you can look at what standards you're going to teach, hit while you're doing this. And when you launch the lesson, it is a self-paced digital lesson that the students advance through the pages here. So here they would watch the video and then they would answer this question by typing in this text box. Then they would advance to the next page, watch another video, type answers in the text box. This one is a little different. They've created an interactive activity called Visualize It, where they would place each runner's times on the number line. So they'd go through here and they'd use this little annotation tool to find 1.3, where it would go right here, and 1.28 here, 1.264, that one's going to be a little bit harder. So we might want to add it about here, and then 1.21, they can add it here. So now they've added their little dots and they can save it, say okay, and they can submit their answers. And again, that saves in Learning Media, which means to do these lessons, you will have to go in and create a class on this website. And then you as a teacher can go into your class on Learning Media and find the students' answers to this activity. you can import your class from Google Classroom into Learning Media as well. So again, this lesson has all these different kinds of activities that give them chances to, here's a box where they would put the greater than and less than symbols into the table here, and then save their answers. And then all of their answers appear here in my work, and it could be printed if it needed to be printed. So those are the interactive lessons, which, as I said, are growing and becoming more and more popular, and became very popular in the spring of 2020. And they have them in all topics and a lot of different places, a lot of different subject areas, and a lot of different grade levels. So I would highly recommend checking out interactive lessons. I'm going to skip ahead. There is a student view of PBS Learning Media, and that looks like this page right here. You can find the student view by going to the main page. You see right here where it says for students. If you click on that, it takes you to a site that's got more of a student facing look to it. When students click on those, it actually just takes them back to Learning Media as it appears for teachers. The other piece we want to show you is if you're looking for Montana specific things on PBS Learning Media, you can search for Montana PBS or Montana, and it'll list out the collections that we've published here in Montana. Most of our pieces that we've added to the site are based on our programs and our documentaries. And of course, a lot of them are about Montana history. Most of them are for grades 4th and above. We don't have a lot of content for younger students. However, that's changing. We do have a team who is just newly put in place to do production for Learning Media, and they are focused on that pre-K to 2nd grade grade range. So stay tuned for more Montana specific early learning content coming to the site. Some of the collections that in Montana that we have published that we're really excited about are Ghost Forests, which is our documentary. It's just about 26 minutes long about the whitebark pine. This collection is new and we are very proud of it. It features the full film, if you wanted to share the full film with students, as well as an image gallery with photos taken from the film, and then clips from the film. You can see each film has support materials. We have created a teacher's guide to go along with Ghost Forests, some discussion questions, and then we've partnered up with the Fireworks Educational Program with the United States Forest Service for this collection. And we have linked their lessons with this collection. And for instance, they have created these fact sheets that exist about the whitebark pine. And we were really lucky that they were interested in collaborating with us. And so we have some really nice resources to go along with the assets in this film. The other collection I want to share is Playing for the World. This documentary came out in 2010, and it's about the Fort Shaw Indian Boarding School basketball team that played at the World's Fair in 1902. Really interesting film. It speaks to Indian education as well as that time in history when the boarding schools and some of the racism and the discrimination that these girls faced, but then the pretty remarkable story of a girls basketball team and just how famous they became. We have clips from the film and again, support materials. We had a teacher here in Montana develop the lessons and discussion questions to go along with the film. And all of that is here for you in this collection. Another one we're excited about is Keeping the Barn. If you're watching this, it's October and it's fall, and we're probably maybe visiting some pumpkin patches and barns, and they're on our mind. So this collection is really timely. Keeping the Barn tells the story of just some of the many historic barns across the state of Montana and the families that own them. We have a lovely lots of clips from the film telling the stories and again, learning Montana history through the lens of barns, which is an interesting way of looking at it. The first lesson here is actually created for the K2 crowd. We have the introduction to the film, but then we also have some really nice images of barns. And we've created a visual literacy lesson for younger teachers to have their students look longer at these photos and write and think about what they see. All in the teacher's guide. We've got some barn activities and a vocabulary activity. And then in our support materials for students, some discussion questions, and all of them are connected to our digital tour guide. And our thought behind this was that maybe kids might print these off and keep them in the car. And as they're driving around the state with mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or whoever, they might keep their eyes out for some of these barns. And they can write about what they learned and what they saw when they noticed the barn. Might be a good thing if the kids are going on a field trip out of town somewhere and they've need something to do on the bus. Hand them this and have them look for barns in Montana. So that was our thinking behind that resource. The last collection is about one of our films. It's been around for a couple of years now, but this is called The Last Artifact. It's an award-winning film because it's just stunning, about the redefinition of the kilogram, and gives the kind of a close look at the field of metrology and the scientists who really study the science of measurement. The challenge with this film was making all of that compelling to an audience, and they did a great job. This film is very fast-paced and visual and tells kind of quirky stories about the scientists. And in the process, we hope that we've got some really great clips here that can teach you about metrology and the kilogram and why this process was so historic. Again, each of the video clips has support materials, in this case, a teacher's guides, a background essay, and an activity that might go along with the video, as well as just a quick connection to what that one is about. So those are our Montana collections that we'd love you to check out. I'm going to go quickly through these next slides, as these are just more links for you to click on that would take you to other collections that I would encourage you to check out. So hopefully you've got these slides bookmarked or saved to your drive now, some more of those quick sheets. I want to share some of the ways that you might use our PBS resources in the classroom. And the site is open-ended so that you can use the videos and images and games however they work for you. But one thing I love to do is called a guided viewing activity, where we really encourage students to look at watching a video in the same way they would look at reading a mentor text. We might read it many, many times, a mentor text. Well, a video, we might watch it many, many times, but we watch it to learn something new each time. In this activity, I created a simple Word document where I inserted a table and I put the discussion questions on one side. And before we watch the video, we have the kids attempt to answer the questions, and that helps us access prior knowledge and gets them thinking about the content for the video. And it alerts them to the ones that maybe they couldn't answer that they should be listening for as they watch the video. Then after we watch the video, they fill in the other side and we talk about what they may have learned or what changed from watching it to not watching it. And we might watch it again so that they could continue to add to this. So it's a very simple activity that could be used with any video. In this case, I did it with a second grade classroom that were studying birds. And so we found a video that would help us with that. Another activity that I liked to do when I was teaching, a daily routine. This was a daily routine for me. Again, visual literacy was really important to me when I was teaching. I really wanted students to look longer and to take some time to really observe details and make some inferences about what they saw, and maybe post some discussions about images. And so I would find images from the site and I would post them to a Google slide deck. And I would project one image in the morning for students to look at when they came into the room. And for my younger students, I just had the image and just left it open-ended for them to just write and draw. My older students, I provided some prompts that they responded to. And you can see those on the slide. And I might have say something like, what do you think these people are talking about? And what do you think happened before this picture was taken? What do you think happened after this picture was taken? And then I might have them turn and talk with a partner about what they were thinking about, then bring the whole group together and share. And then I would go back to where I had found the image on Learning Media, and it would often take us to just a quick description about where this is and maybe some facts about the photo itself. And so that's a way to use images in a routine way. I also have used Flipgrid before, where I have imported a video from the site, given the students a question that I wanted them to answer about the video, and then encourage them to use Flipgrid to respond to the video. I talked about Google Classroom earlier, but I often used Google Classroom. I would put games. These are 2 games that I put in the site, and then they needed to come back and give me a comment about playing the game. Some other resources that are available for teachers besides PBS Learning Media is this site called the PBS Teachers Lounge. And it's a platform that is curated and kept by PBS National. And they have a blog that has regular blog posts written by teachers from across the country. They have, as well as virtual professional learning that they host for teachers nationally. So that's a great site to just have in your bookmarks and check out every now and then. There's also a program for teachers called the PBS Media Literacy Certification for Educators. It was created by the PBS station in San Francisco, KQED, as a way for teachers to elevate their digital learning planning and the things they were doing with students by earning 8 micro-credentials that upon earning all 8, you get this digital badge to confirm that you are a PBS Media Literacy Educator. This is Sarah Dahl from Livingston, and she was the first PBS Media Literacy Certified Educator in Montana. There are currently 10 in the state and just over 50 nationwide. So we have a pretty good showing here in Montana. And a lot of that is because of our online cohort. Here at Montana PBS, we support a group of teachers every year to work together, and then we coach you to earn the certification. And I've stopped the present mode so that you can see here in the notes section, I have put the link to sign up for that cohort if you're interested. And how we do that is we take the 8 micro-credentials and we just focus on 1 every month over the course of the school year. We unpack what you need to do and how you need to earn it. We share examples of successful submissions, and we brainstorm how you might plan your lesson to earn that micro-credential. Most micro-credentials require an instructional plan, a couple work samples, and a reflection. The teachers who have worked with us say that that was the difference between finishing and quitting. And so we're really proud of the support we can provide. We can also provide OPI credit to teachers who participate in the program. And we also have a small stipend we give to teachers for finishing and for giving us their feedback about the program. Again, so you can join us. We've at this point, at the time of this recording, we will have had 2 of our first webinars for the school year, but we record them. So you could get caught up still if you wanted to join in, and we'd be happy to have you. I will cut off allowing people to join us in November, because then it would be hard to catch you up. Yeah, might not, but we got to cut it off somewhere. But we encourage you to check it out. You can also earn media literacy certification without our support. You can do it on your own. It was developed to just do self-paced. If you click on this badge, it will take you to a description of the program, and you can go through and see what you would need to do in order to earn those micro-credentials. The next site I'm excited to show you is the PBS Kids Design Squad Global. This is a really fun site for elementary teachers. And I'm just going to give you a quick, my favorite part of the site. There's a lot here. But if you come here to where it says build, so click on build with the scissors. And here's where you can find sort of recipe STEM activities, which allows you, which gives you in a lot of different categories. And then they are sorted and sort of graded by their difficulty. So one way you might use this is if you've got a makerspace time and you're getting kids used to this whole makerspace idea, you might introduce one of these activities, or Genius Hour might let kids explore these kinds of things. If you have a para or a parent volunteer that would like to lead an activity, this is a great place to have them. So they might choose an activity, and once they click on it, there's a video that demonstrates how it's made and kind of describes the science behind the activity. And then we have step-by-step instructions with visuals. So you know exactly all the things you need to do by going through these instructions and how to create these pieces, and then gives you a little bit of background information about the science behind the activity. You can also download and print these activities. So there's a lot of options and a lot of potential for this site in the build category. So I encourage you to check that out. Another site that I recommend for parents and for teachers of our younger students, our pre-K to second or third grade, is PBS Kids for Parents. But this site isn't just for parents. I think there's a lot of value here for teachers as well. And so I'll click on that and show you. It's pbskids.pbs.org/parents. And it is a lot of resources as far as videos, articles, activities, links to other PBS resources, but they're all categorized and pretty easy to find, especially if you want to search by the age of the child and the topic of the content area that you're really looking for. So while of course we would maybe share this with parents, how we've also seen this used is kindergarten and pre-kindergarten teachers will grab resources that are specific to the age of the child. For instance, age 5, we'll look at that. And then they have it in social emotions, social character, literacy. So maybe as a kindergarten teacher, you'd like a couple of activities to recommend that families do at home together, or you're looking for some digital games that are appropriate for your students. They'll be here. Or here are some great articles that maybe you want to link in a classroom newsletter, or after parent-teacher conferences, you got the feeling this parent would really benefit from having something to read. And so there's some really nice articles that you might want to share with families to help them just continue their learning and supporting their kids. So all of that is here. The other thing that's really fun, in this play section, there's a recipe section. And so if you want to encourage families to do things at home, like cooking together, you could maybe provide them with some of these recipes to do. Or if you have access to kitchen materials and you want to make one of these recipes a classroom activity, just like the the Design Squad page I showed you, this page also makes it really easy to do these activities sort of step by step. Here's your ingredients, and then it gives you visual instructions for what to do to make these recipes together. So it's a really nice resource, both for families but I see a lot of potential for it, and I've talked to pre-K teachers and daycare providers who have loved this, and kindergarten teachers who also use this as a great way to share resources with families. And that brings me to the end of our time together. So the chat box is there if you would like to ask any questions, and I'm on the other side, happy to answer questions or give you any tips about things that you might find or how to use PBS in your classroom. And then I encourage you to find us in whatever way works for you. You can on social media or email, or if you like to find us on our website, there's my email there. We just love supporting teachers. Our education team is a mighty team of 5 now, working on developing resources and content and programs to support teachers and students. And so please let us know how we can help. And thank you for taking the time to watch my session today. Really appreciate it. I know you have lots of choices at these conferences, so it's an honor that you chose to watch this one. I wish you all the best and hope that the rest of the conference goes really well for you. Thank you so much and have a great day.